Alrighty, good evening, good morning, good night, everyone, whatever time it is that you are watching this stream. Hopefully, it is good. Alright, checking to make sure everything is a go. So, as you can see, this is a live stream, and as you can tell, a couple of the past videos that I have made have been reviews on some 3D printed puzzles. For instance, this one, or perhaps this one. They are some 3D printed puzzles that I've gotten from a friend of mine named Jacob. And I have bought these puzzles from him oh, speaking of which, there he is. Hello, Jacob. I can see you in chat. That is good. But like I was saying, I have bought these puzzles from him at recent competitions that I've been to, most recent being Sharon Forks Qualifier 2023, which was a couple weeks ago. And I bought these four of them. Video, just normal video, if it was like one or two of them. But this is a live stream because these are all four different puzzles that have different complex things about them. I have them in order from least complex to most complexing. So without further ado, let's get into the first one. The first one we have up right here. This is a 56 millimeter magnetic 3x3. This is completely 3D printed. It even has the magnets in there, which is pretty snazzy. I like that a lot. And it is like, okay, so let me grab a normal 3x3 right here. Okay, here's my Worm 2021. And it is around the same size, just a little bit bigger than this. What's another one I have? Okay, here's a GAN 12. As you can see here, it is the same size as the GAN 12. Some puzzles it'll be bigger than, because some of the ones like the Worm are like a millimeter or so smaller. And it moves pretty well. And well, it'll do that if I try to go too crazy with it. But it is one of those 3x3s that are kind of for speed solving, but not going overly fast. Like if you want to go really fast with it, that isn't the best way to go. But if you just want like a 3x3 that's like, if you want to practice some like algorithms and doing a little slow for memorization, or you just want to do a little bit speedy on some algorithms, it'll do that. But if I'm doing some algorithms that I have to do a lot with like RUF moves that require a lot of different moves in a row, that is when it'll pop. But that is when I am just doing it fast. Like if I'm doing this, it is perfectly fine. And the feeling of it is just really good. Feels pretty snazzy in the hands. Overall, like the smoothness of it is really good, because some puzzles that have like a certain feeling won't go that fast. Ignore that voice crack. Now that my voice is cracked, I forgot what I was saying. But anyways, the like I was saying, some 3x3s that are 3D printed or have certain plastic won't move as fast, which is not good. But this one moves overall really well. Let's do a quick T-perm. Do a quick Y-perm. J-perm, inverse J-perm. Okay, I feel like one way to test it is to do an R-perm. Or say a G-perm. Yeah, like if you're doing certain moves like with a G-perm that require a lot, that might not be a safe bet. But like I said, some of these are not really intended for speed solving. They're more for like the novelty, for like an extra puzzle. Okay, and thank you, Jacob, for the input. So the main reason that it pops is hold on, let me check the chat. Let me pull up the chat on an extra angle real quick. So like you were saying, is the main reason it pops is the lack of horizontal feet on the bottom of the edges. The purpose of them is to anchor it between the corners. So if I take one out here, all right, but this is, I mean, then again, this is more of like an interesting one that I have seen. So if we put it like between that and this, in my opinion, that's actually an interesting way of putting it, and it's quite cool looking, if you ask me. So let me put it back together here. Oh. But overall, I think that this 3x3 is pretty good. I see nothing wrong with it. It doesn't hurt my hands after playing with it for a while. And it's overall a great experience. So that is our first puzzle. The second puzzle we have right here is the button cube. Now what the button cube is, it looks just like a normal, it looks like a 3x3 because it functions like a 3x3. However, if I bring it back, you will notice, oh wait, hold on, that fell out. You will notice that it has these circles in the middle, similar to that of like a, I think, crazy 3x3 or something similar, but also these smaller circles also turn. So it makes for a interesting solving experience. I have solved it once, and it was it was a little difficult, but also kind of trivial. And like I said, you can move all the faces. There is no bandaging or anything at all. So if you want to move this, and I then want to move like a smaller one, I can do that, and it'll do it on all of the faces. And it makes me kind of think of like a 5x5 in a way, because you're bringing it up, putting it in, then bringing it back down. And whenever I solve it, I just think of how I solve like the centers on like a bigger puzzle, like a 6x6, or so much as just corners on like a 5x5. Bring them in, then rotate it. It's like 5x5 starting, but with mine less steps. Now I'm gonna so I'm gonna, so if I want to do this, see, it'll turn on all of them. But I do not want to mix this up right now because it will take me a good while to solve. And as you can tell, it is quite a bit larger than like this 3x3, which makes sense because if you think about it, if you try to make these even smaller, it would be hard to make. Hold on, let's see if I can get one of them to pop out. Okay, so I probably won't be able to. So the inner stocks right here will they wouldn't be able to be made like they are if it was on like a normal size 3x3. Because if it was on a normal size 3x3, this would function fine, and this would function fine. But at some point while turning, it would eventually break the little circles, which we don't want. And luckily, I have not had that problem with this, which is fantastic. I've had some of the smaller pieces pop out, but that's whenever I find like a... Okay, so thank you, Jacob. It is 72 millimeters, each layer being 24. Very nice, thank you. And I forget what the standard for a 3x3, for like a standard 3x3 is, but I'm pretty sure. So I think the pieces are close to that of a 2x2 almost. Yeah, it's closer to that of a 2x2. Except a little smaller. So, as I was saying, some of these little ones that popped out, that's whenever I'm like turning it fast or trying to make like certain moves. But that's because this is one of those puzzles that's not really meant for speed solving. There are some puzzles that are meant for like speed solving and like going fast, but these are ones that are more for like the novelty. These are ones that you would want to have in your collection because they're cool, and you would want to like have a sit down and just, if you have time on your hands, just sit down, grab one of these, just casually solve it instead of like worrying about like solving it fast like you're in a comp or just practicing to get better. But overall, I haven't really had any problems with this, like other than like the occasional pop, but it's not like every turn. It'll occasionally do that, but that's if I'm doing like a rough turn rather than like a slow turn, making sure everything's aligned. And that's not bad by any means. Like, don't get me wrong. And I have nothing bad to say about this by any means. So that would be the conclusion on the button cube. Overall, pretty snazzy puzzle. The next one is one that Jacob and I have been sending emails back and forth about. This is the pentagonal prism. And if you'll notice, if you look from all of these sides, it looks just like a normal 3x3 until you turn it towards the top or bottom. And it's like a normal 3x3, but with an extra side. So normal 3x3s on each face have 1, 2, 3, 4. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of like that of a Megaminx. So a Megaminx will go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Think about it like that, but only on the top and bottom. The rest is like 3x3. And then you can move it like this. And it is similar to that of, like, there's only one puzzle that I've ever seen similar, and that would be the floppy ghost cube, because you can only do 180-degree turns, and it's on a pentagonal axis, so 5. Whereas a normal floppy cube would be like 4. I've been able to solve most of it, and then the last little bit, the closest I've gotten is similar to like an A-perm, where it's like 3 corners, or like 3 edges and like a different PLL. From there, I would have to look up a tutorial. But for the most part, it's kind of trivial. If you've solved like certain types of cuboids, like a 2x2x3 or a 3x3x4 or a 2x3x3, that knowledge is basically used for this. And this is a puzzle. It's like, this is a puzzle that I like a lot, not only because these larger ones feel a little different than the other plastic. It's like really, really, really smooth. Like, these are smooth, but the smoothness on this is extremely there. And the turning is very crisp, very fast, very nice. So, you know what? I'll give this one a little bit of a mix up. And I will solve it, some of it on stream. I'll try to see how far I can get. All right, I think that looks scrambled enough. Now let's match. So this has to go next here if I'm using my Mega Minx knowledge. So that goes there. That doesn't need to be there. So yeah, a little mix-up was kind of an understatement, Jacob. But this is, like I said, if it's a puzzle that I really like, I will genuinely just give like a good scramble. So wait, okay. I just realized one of the better options that I should have done was to solve the middle edges first. Okay, there we go. We have the entire middle layer done. So now time to get the corners in. And this is a way that I did it while trying to solve my 3x3x4. And Now I don't know if this way of solving the corners is ideal, but this is just how I have done it. So alright, so this is where I'm at. I have the first two layers done. Now this isn't the worst case that I've seen. So I have this here. This needs to go all the way back to here. So basically I have kind of a 3 swap. And that means that this has to go here, this has to go here. And it's kind of a 4 swap with the corners. So I'm trying to figure out what would be a good way to try and fix this. So if I were to... Maybe if I try to bring it out, then bring it in. And this is where I'm at now. So maybe if I do... Bring it back. Okay, this is a better case. So what it looks like here, I have... All right, so... It looks like what I have here on the Mega Minx. So if I were to... Now if it were similar, I would do that, but it does not move on that axis. So this would be more of an interesting way of doing it. So maybe if I try to get that. Okay. Now all of the edges are solved, and I need this to be right here. And if I were to solve it like that, that would just bring me back to the J-perm case. Now, Jacob, since I have you here, would you know an easy way to solve this case on here, by chance? Ah. This is actually, well, that's all right. This is the farthest I can actually say I've gotten on here. But I think that's good for right now. Now the next one, hold on, let me solve this at least. Now the next one here is, well, since I have this here, the last puzzle we have up right here is the icosahedron megaminx. And as you can see, it has quite a few more faces than your average megaminx. So we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 20 on here. And they're all different colors, which is very nice. I especially like the brighter ones. Like on here, you have all these brighter ones contrasted with some of these, and then you have the mix of bright with dark, and then you have the darker with some bright. This is one of my favorite colored puzzles that I have gotten. Like, it is aesthetically one of the best that I have gotten from Jacob. This is... It is also a hefty one, which means you know it is made very well. Like all of these, they have some heft to them, which means that you know they are made with care and they are made right. Because if it is a puzzle and it feels really light, and if it's like 3D printed and it feels really light, that's gonna probably be concerning. Unless if it is a really small puzzle, then that's understandable. But if it is a large one like this and it feels really light, then you know it wasn't really made as well. But I haven't felt any of these 3D printed puzzles yet that have felt bad and just poorly made. But anyways, back to this one. It is just a megaminx, but with 20 sides, and it solves just like one. I have solved it. I have solved most of it, except 2 edges were flipped. It's basically what. So if I'm gonna grab. So kind of like, so as you see here on the 3x3, it looked like this, but on here. And the only other time that I've had something similar was on the ReadyMinx. But the reason I was able to solve it on here is because this one functions completely different than this. It is much simpler on here. This one, it is more complex. Like on the ReadyMinx, I would just swap around. And just do random moves in hopes that it would have it swapped. So like this, that's how I would solve it on here. This one, I feel it probably would not work, but I am not sure because I didn't test it. But because of it being larger, it's going to be interesting for me to turn because I don't have the biggest of hands. So for being a larger puzzle, it turns really well. I have not had any lockups or catches with it. Like, and if I did, they were probably like minor. So, let's start with like a aesthetically pleasing one. I'm just gonna do our U moves and then try to solve it from there. See, like there, it's a minor lockup, but it rarely happens. Okay, so I'm gonna start by doing this. And as you can tell, I'm not the best Megaminx solver. Okay, so best way to solve this, I'm guessing, would be to do that. And oh, well, that's interesting. I somehow have all of the edges solved except for the corners. So that the amount of times that I've done that on the Megaminx, it has never happened. But this actually just looks pretty cool. So bring it down, then put it back in. Bring it along. Where are the others? Okay, they're right here. Okay. Now bring that back into here. And now how many do I have left? Just gonna place that back. Wait. Okay, so I'm down to the final 3. I do apologize if this is slow. I am barely even sub 2 on Megaminx. And I think the reason it's locking up more is because I'm trying to be fast because I don't like seeming slow. But like if I'm turning normal like this, I have no problems. But if I'm turning fast and like with nerves, that'll cause me to lock up. But I need to keep in mind, this is not what this is about. This is about having a fun solving experience. This is a new puzzle, and it is just about giving yourself a challenge. And I will say this one out of these has given me probably the biggest challenge and has taken the longest, because this one I will say from easiest, this one obviously the easiest. This one is a toss-up between the two. This one is easy, it's just more time consuming. This one's easy except for when you get to the last layer, but I feel like that will be intuitive on its own. So if I learn the last layer, then it's easy going from there. So these two, not really that difficult. Well, this one obviously has a little bit of difficulty to it because it's a cuboid. Well, more of a, it's not really a cube, but it's a shape mod. I don't know, because cuboids are normally like square, like this. But like I said, this is a pentagonal shape mod. But back to the icosahedron Megaminx. I think one of my favorite sides on this is just this group of just green, blue. I think that's teal. I'm not good with colors. Then you have magenta and bright pink. And you have yellow, orange, beige, white, red, darker green. You have like a brown color. Kind of like more of like a lavender rather. I mean, it's kind of like purple, more of a lavender. Oh, that's fine, Jacob. And if you need to like scroll back through anything, I'm going to be leaving, you can do that now, and I'll also be leaving the stream up afterwards for like future stuff. So yeah. So if I had to pick a favorite few colors on here, I'd have to say probably the pink, this blue in particular, the green, lavender, that kind of gray, and that yellow. And plus I just like the white and stuff. There's just not one color that I don't like. And then I think it's pretty cool, like if you look right here, you have a star in the middle. And seeing like the star with like the different patterns of colors is just, I love it. I absolutely love it. It is aesthetically one of the most pleasing things I've ever seen. Whereas on here, it's just all the same color. On here, like no matter how you have it oriented, like nothing's really changed. But if you do it on here, it's on the right face, but not the right side. And then I'm gonna be careful when doing this. So here is what one of the pieces look like. And it looks similar to like how you would have some of it. And this is honestly a good design to where, if you can see, it is like it goes inward, then outward a little bit, which helps give it its structural integrity. And then for the corners, it's the same with the corners. But if you have right here, it helps go against it. And then whenever I've had the solving, whenever the pieces rub against each other, it just helps it stay together. So I'm gonna turn it to one of the sides with the other edge and put it back in. Oh, come back here, you. Where did it go? Oh, it's right here. All right. No, you do not go there. This has to go here. Don't worry. I am doing my best to stay careful with them. I feel like there's so many things about these puzzles that I love. There's a lot that I have to say about them. There's a lot of cool things that they have with them. I will say probably my two favorite ones are this because of the aesthetics, and this one because of the challenge that it put on me. And this one I love because it's a 3D printed 3x3, like a 3D printed fully magnetic 3x3. What is there to not like about it? And then this one is it's a 3x3, except it just has a lot of stuff for you to do. And that's what I love about it. So I can't think of anything bad about these. I've said pretty much all that I can, and make sure that you guys go check out Jacob's channel, because he works so extremely hard on these, and he takes a lot of time, like weeks to months on some of these puzzles, depending on how big the project is. And they're no easy task. Like from what I've been talking with him, sometimes it goes good, sometimes it doesn't. Like these aren't just like a quick thing they can have like smack dab in like a singular week or like a day. Sorry, I had to solve 3x3. These are puzzles that take time and take a lot of care to have them made. And it clearly shows. And that is probably the main thing that I love about these puzzles, plus some of the past ones that I have, like a 2x2 Pyraminx. Like, how often do you see a 2x2 Pyraminx that's an actual 2x2 Pyraminx? Like, the closest that we have to it that kind of looks like it is a Pyramorphix, and that's more of a 2x2. Like, I have one right here, and you would think that, oh, the tips, they would turn. They don't. But on here, they do. It's a fun little puzzle that's just, if you're new to cubing and you just want a fun puzzle, this is one of the things that would be good for you. Or if you're just a moderate cuber like I am, this is just a puzzle to have in your collection. In fact, all of these are. And I am glad that I have had the opportunity to talk with Jacob, and I am glad that I got into get these puzzles from him. And that's, I guess, pretty much it. And once again, please be sure to look at Jacob's channel. These are so well made. Also, ooh, wait a minute. He just reminded me of something else as well, because it should be near. I have it somewhere on my desk. Where did my dad put it? Okay. Before I end the stream, thank you for reminding me of this, Jacob. So, because I've bought a lot of puzzles from him, this is what he made me. This is honestly something cool. At Sharon Forks Qualifier, the most recent comp, he gave me this, and as like a little trophy. And this just looks, I love this. It is a bunch of cores put together, and I'm trying to think of what it kind of reminds me of. I mean, it kind of looks like a little mini tripod, but it's not. Well, you know what? Wait. Oh, wait. Because hold on. I just might have found out another. I just might have found out something. Hold on. If I can get one of them to stand up, Scube's not the best one. If I am careful with, come here. If I am careful with it, I feel like one of the bigger puzzles would not be too good for this. So if I want to place like a 2x2, or maybe say like a smaller 3x3 on here. Wait, turn it upside down like this? Or what would be, which way are you talking about, Jacob? Ooh, now hold on a second. Okay, this, I have just found another thing that this can be used for. Now, some of the puzzles it'll work for. Scube, well, it's obviously not going to work well with this one. This is a concave Scube. It's an interesting puzzle. Like something like your 3x3 might work, but due to the small space, it probably won't work for some of them. But it'll obviously work with that, and that just looks cool. That just looks really cool. And if I do, trying to think of a face that I would like to have it on. There we go. Oh, I just almost knocked my entire phone down. That looks pretty cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Oh, and there it goes. But anyways, I would just like to say thanks again, Jacob, for the great puzzles, the trophy, and just everything. And one last thing before I end the stream, please make sure that you follow him. This is like honestly amazing, and I think if I still have it linked, is I tried to stream this once before earlier, and it didn't go quite that well, and I ended up having to remove that stream because like I said, it was not like working properly. So if it is not there, I have it linked in some of my other videos, but I will also make sure it is linked here. So I thank you all for watching this, and I hope that this was helpful, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye for now.